Hello everyone, I'm Greg Johnson, Superintendent of Little Falls Community Schools. Thanks for joining us in a topic about grade level banding. I'm here today with Larry Edgerton, Principal at Lincoln, and Dr. Knight, as well as Rusty Guas, the Principal at Lindbergh Elementary. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're here today to talk about our strategic plan, some of the needs in our district, and a strategy that we believe has some merit for the district to explore and continue to gather feedback from our community members, staff, and families. And I want to start with talking about our strategic plan just real quickly. We've talked a lot about that and the importance of that plan driving the goals and direction of the school district. And the four priority areas are teaching and learning, finance and facilities, mental health and wellness, and communications and marketing. And those priority areas are listed in order of importance. And when we look at teaching and learning, the first goal under that category is ensuring that we have an aligned, consistent, and evidence-based program to support our students academically. And I've had numerous conversations with our principals at the elementary level as well as middle school and high school about the fact that we have a wonderful school district. We have great families, we have teachers that work very hard, but there are some things that need to improve in our schools. And as we target that area within our strategic plan, there's a topic and strategy that's come up quite a bit, and that's a term that's called grade level banding. And I know historically in Little Falls, and you two can probably speak to that more than I can, it's a term that maybe folks are aware of and we've talked about as a district, and that's where we take our two elementary schools in Little Falls, and instead of having two separate kindergarten through grade 5 buildings that we would grade level band and have one school that would be a preschool through first grade building, and then the other building would be grades 2 through 5. And there's reasons for that, and we know that change is difficult, but when we look at our strategic plan in addressing student achievement, being more aligned and consistent, fiscally responsible with our finances, as well as supporting the mental health and wellness of our students, there are some definite pros that come with grade level banding. This plan would be focused in Little Falls. This plan would not, if it moves forward, would not impact Dr. Knight. Dr. Knight would continue to be a likely one-section school to support the students and residents in that area. Maybe if I jump to our principals and just have each of them start off with what they see some of those advantages being in looking at grade level banding.
Certainly, I think, as we go through and look at the pros and cons, some things that consistently come up is keeping those younger kids together, that group of kids, and kind of keeping their innocence. So you'd have the preschool through grade 1 in that one building, so they're not exposed to those older kids. The other piece that comes into play is you have all those teachers, the grade level teachers, together, and that creates a little more opportunities for planning. You have all your resources right there. So my thought is we'd better be able to better meet the needs of those kids as they come to us. The other piece that comes up every year in the fall is registration time for the parents, and what school do we register at, and I think this would alleviate that problem. And with like the campus at Lincoln, when you have eventually the birth to grade 1 at that campus, it would make registration, that process, far more streamlined.
I think a point to make in that discussion, Larry, you bring up a good point. What are the current boundaries within our elementary schools in Little Falls?
Right now, we do not have any boundaries, so we never really truly know what our enrollment is going to be from year to year. Our kindergarten generally fills up fairly quick, but we have no room to expand. And it's hard when parents come to enroll their child and you say, sorry, you got to go on a waiting list and send them elsewhere. So I think that the grade level banding would eliminate that.
Thank you.
And along with the things that Larry has mentioned, one of the things I'm a fan of is at least at Lindbergh, you get a chance to see a grade level become more of a family. We've done a little bit of a sampling of banding with our departmentalization with the upper grades, and it's fun to see 4th and 5th graders who are no longer just a part of one class, but a part of a bigger class as they move together. And I think it's exciting to think about kids who start and travel through a system together where our whole community and our school district are planning and enjoying that group together. And certainly socially, emotionally, that's a great thing for our district. And I don't know, I just think it brings a real family feel to those kids and those families as they navigate the process, I guess, the train tracks as they go through school. And it's a natural flow from starting your career on the west side at Lincoln and moving over to Lindbergh, then the middle school and high school. I think there's a lot of benefits to having kids track together.
You two spend a lot of time in elementary classrooms, and you spend a lot of time working with elementary teachers. What do you see as the power of teachers collaborating and working together, as well as teachers collectively being on the same page?
Well, I would say that, it just seems like schedules just continue to get busier and busier, and it's harder to get staff together to plan and prepare. And, as we teach to standards and as we try to continue to give our kids what they need, that communication with and that sharing of ideas and looking at data and sharing resources is crucial, not only with my own team, but that team above me and below me. And so to have the opportunity to get in professional learning communities and work together, plan together, talk about our kids, prepare for our kids, I see it as a huge opportunity to really capitalize on getting all of our resources together.
And I would support that, and when we do have like an in-service day and we come together and our PLCs meet, we're traveling from building to building to bring everybody together. Now we would not need to do that because those teams would already be established in those buildings.
Larry, you talked before about the birth to first grade idea at Lincoln. If that's, I should preface this and say, just so folks know, this is a topic we're exploring. No decisions have been made, and as we continue to learn more, we certainly are going to share that with our community. But the idea of having a school that really services with the addition of a child care center onto Lincoln, truly working with families and children from birth all the way through age 6 when they're in first grade.
It just helps establish that connection, that community feel at the school. And then families start to feel comfortable once they're already in the school and can continue through up till first grade. It just allows for making a better connection with those kids and with the families.
And we'd all agree when we look at student achievement, and we know that there's certainly a lot more to our schools than student achievement, but student achievement's pretty important and the most important part of our strategic plan. And having a strategy like this that we really think can help us move the needle with that, because right now we are seeing some concerning data within our schools, and I think we'd all agree, from administration to our teaching staff, that it's important that we try something different and we look at a different approach to supporting our students and families. Rusty, I've heard you talk about, and a couple other administrators, kind of the excitement of having students from grades 2 through grades 12 on the same campus in Little Falls, connected to the middle school and the high school.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, Little Falls, just the way we're set up with our schools. We're a bigger district, but yet I feel like we're a bigger district that feels like we can still provide that small town feel and that family connection. And I think we have a unique opportunity to have the 3 buildings, our older kids, all on one campus. I just don't think we can communicate enough about the importance of having all of our kids together and being able to share resources and plan for kids. Watch them go through the years, passing of the baton, tracking their data and helping the people that are waiting for them to service them so they can continue to give them what they need. Really unique. I think unique is probably the best way to describe it, a unique opportunity for us that certainly we have to explore.
One of the things I've heard people share from a concern standpoint with banding is the addition of another transition for our students. So the big transition in Little Falls right now for elementary students is that jump from 5th grade to 6th grade. And this model, of course, would create that between 1st and 2nd grade. But I think it's important to note that that transition from elementary to middle school is really can be a stressful time for some of our students. And when you look at bringing students together as one community and starting all together in kindergarten or even preschool with the same group of students, even though there's that added transition, now you're doing it with everybody. Everybody's in the same page, same boat, transitioning, and hopefully making that a little bit easier for everybody's mental health and wellness.
Yeah, I think anybody that's experienced a club or a sport or, anything that you've gotten your kids involved in, you instantly have new friends and a family feel to that. And I certainly feel like this would be that on a larger scale. Instantly, kids are going to have more opportunities to connect socially, find people with common interests. Families will be able to connect and travel through the district together. A real win, I think, for everyone.
I would agree. It even goes beyond just the connections with the kids. It's also connections for those families to get to know each other a lot sooner in the school career.
Great points. The second most important area of our strategic plan is finances and facilities. And one of the things that we look at with grade level banding is ways that it can increase our financial responsibility and fiscal responsibility. And we've done some looking at our elementary schools the past 3 to 4 years and looked at it through the lens of a grade level banding model and what could that do to our staffing. And we have some examples going back to school year 21-22. And what it shows us by having all the grade levels in the same building, number one, we have equitable class sizes. Everybody has the same equity within the number of students in their classrooms. The second thing is that it allows us to reduce some staffing that we've had. For example, in 21-22, we had 41 elementary teachers in grades K through 5. If we were in a banded model, we would need 38 classroom teachers to be able to support that model, thus saving 3 FTEs for the school district. And I think it's important where teaching and learning is the most important thing we do. It's certainly important with our budget situation that we have plans that also are fiscally responsible for our families and constituents. The other thing too, just to note again that we continue to explore the idea. Last week we had a meeting with, actually 2 weeks ago now, we had a meeting with all of any interested elementary staff just to, again, share this information, why we think it makes some sense for Little Falls, address any questions that staff have. The school board this week heard a similar presentation. And then on January 8th, we have a meeting scheduled for any families and community members at 6 o'clock in the auditorium at the high school. And it will be a look at what is grade level banding, how it can support our school district, and address any questions that folks have. I know principals, we talked recently about the importance of getting out and seeing some school districts that currently grade level band, like Becker, Sartell, Big Lake, and Hutchinson are districts that have that model.
I think we all have questions and need to see it in place. And when when these discussions first got started, you go through those emotions behind it. You get connected with staff that you work with 8 hours a day, and sometimes you see that school family more than you do your own family. And so those emotions start to play. But when you really stop to reflect and get past those emotions and think about what's best for kids and what's best for our school, community and the families. I think grade level banding has a lot of merit, but I think we also are at that point where now we need to see it in place because we still have some questions about what worked for them and what would they do differently and just the whole process behind it.
And I would say that, like anything that, anytime you have change or you're looking at something different, restructuring, I mean, I think it's really important that we do ask those questions that we have. I have been very pleased and with the support in the district from families. I just feel like we just have such a great support system, and I encourage people that if they do have questions, that they do show up at these meetings and come ask your questions. We certainly have questions. We're exploring all of that. And the reason I love this so much is because I know we're doing this for the right reasons. We're trying to make things better for our kids and our staff. But certainly we need to check the boxes as well. Right. So I look forward to conversations. Like we said, we haven't made a decision yet. We're just exploring, but these meetings will be important.
I appreciate that feedback from both of you. Change is difficult. It does bring out a level of emotion for folks, and that's where the more we talk about it, the more we get those questions out there, the more we understand the why. And again, really driving the importance of giving our students the best advantage as they start elementary school and prepare for middle school, high school, and life after, that Little Falls students have the best edge possible. That's all we have on this topic. We look forward to further discussions. Gentlemen, any parting words? I should have asked that before I said that's all we have.
No, I guess I'd reiterate what Rusty said is don't be afraid to ask questions and understand the reasoning and the rationale behind it. You know, and we're still learning things about it. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the school district is the heart and soul of towns like Little Falls, and we're certainly doing what we can to continue to spread flyer pride and give the best opportunities for our kids and our families. And so it's an exciting time to be thinking about something like this, and we'll see where it leads us.
So once again, thank you. I hope that folks participate and attend our meetings and ask questions, and we will keep you updated as these discussions continue. Thank you.